Well, hello to my creative friends. Thanks for joining me today on my YouTube channel. We are turning the corner from fall into winter, and most of the leaves are off the trees. There's just a little bit left, but it's nice and warm in the studio. So come on with me and let's take a look inside. Today I wanted to talk to you about what you can learn from your sketchbook. And I would like to go over real quickly. I've showed you this sketchbook before that I take with me on short trips where I think I might make a little side trip or have a chance to do some painting. This is a part of a kit actually that I got that came with water brushes and one of those little palettes, those wooden palettes that are magnetic that come apart and you clip them on the top. It also came with a clip, I think, but it was a Potentate journal. I think they have some kind of connection now with Lightwish, or they rebranded as Lightwish, or maybe Lightwish got their supply from the same place as this. But you can pick them up, I think, on Amazon under either name. I don't know which name it goes under now, but I really like the texture of it. It's 100% cotton, and it's a nice thick watercolor paper with a little bit of a texture to it. Anyway, I wasn't going to do a review on the sketchbook itself, but rather what it contains. I'll give you a little side snippet into what I have now, how I've pared down my travel kit. It's just a little Ziploc bag, and I've got a palette in here. It's not a Currents palette. It is a Prima metal tin that I've reused. I kind of cannibalized the paint in here and reused it for my MimeriBlu paints. It's a 6-set paint set. I did add Van Dyke Brown because I was having a little bit of trouble getting a dark color that wasn't too purple or blue. So I added Van Dyke Brown. But this is what I took with me, and I took these other supplies with me. I didn't use a lot of them. I have a viewfinder in here. I've got a pencil sharpener. I've got a water brush. Whoops, that lid came right off. I don't want it drying out. There we go. And it did come on an actual water brush, so I did use that. I filled it with water. It's just a small tip, just a very small tip there, not a big one. And I had a clip that I used. You know, we all have these little clips to keep the wind from blowing our pages all over the place. But that's what I brought with me. And what did I learn? Let's take a look. Now I'm going to read from a list. I have a whole list of things that I wrote down. Hopefully I can read what I wrote. Alright, so on the way home from an appointment, I had a few minutes to sneak off into the woods on my way home and go on a hiking trail and sit down after I found a nice little subject there and start to paint. You saw the kit I brought with me. I really just used the palette you saw, the watercolor brush, and the sketchbook. And it's a little small 4.5 by 4.5 or 5 by 5 sketchbook. Just enough. But I sketched this quick drawing, and then a few days later I was at home and I thought, what would happen if I painted the same thing again and maybe tried to improve on it? Now, since I've done that, I've seen quite a few videos on the subject. One is from Teaching of Art, and he touts doing the same thing over and over again, or painting the same thing twice, 3 times, 4 times, just like the old masters did. They made many studies before they came to a complete painting or a complete composition. So we're really doing nothing differently here. I also came upon a video that just recently Onmar Wynn did on the same subject, and improving your art by painting something multiple times. So this kind of all happened at the same time. Honest, I didn't see those first, but it's kind of an idea that has been out there, of course. But I want to give them some credit because they did come up with these videos before this one. So I'll link those below so you can watch them and get something out of it too. But what I'll do is look at the second painting I did and back up a little bit so you can see what the difference is. Let me back up a little bit. Oh, I want to get them both in. There we go. Okay, so we get them both in. Now, I'll go over my list to see what the points are that I wanted to make. And basically that you will improve your art by drawing the same thing twice. And you'll learn a lot by doing that. The first thing I learned was that I was capturing colors in the fall palette, and there were some nice, beautiful red leaves. They were bright red. You know, sometimes you can get some really bright oranges and reds. Now, I don't have a problem with the orange because I've got an orange in this palette, but it does not have a true red. It's got a pink. I think this is like a quinacridone pink or quinacridone red, something like that. But it's more like a magenta, or quinacridone magenta maybe it is. But it's not a red. You of course can't make a true primary colors out of other colors. You have to have those primaries. So first of all, I saw that my palette was lacking a red. So I made a note to myself to add a red. It really has a lot of other capabilities to it, so it's pretty much complete. I can make almost all the colors I want, but it was lacking a red. The first painting I did gave me a subject to paint, so it took the pressure off as far as what am I going to paint. We all have those blank moments in our blank sketchbook, and we don't know what to do. So that helped me. It helped me with basic composition, and I saw that it's important when I was painting this to leave some space around the stems. They kind of got lost in the painting here, whereas here you can see I left some space around those stems so that you can see them. They're very it's very obvious that those are stems. Here they just kind of get lost a little bit. The shapes here when I was painting were a little bit shaky. Now, was it the water brush? I don't know if it was the water brush, or should I add a smaller brush? I know on this one I used a smaller brush, and the painting is much better as far as the edges of the leaves are concerned. Here it's very shaky, but that kind of gives it a nice quality. Here the leaves are more defined, they're smoother. It's just different. It's not better or worse, it's just different. In the original subject, it really had a sharp value contrast when I was looking at it. These were bright yellow pale leaves, like a pale lemon yellow, against some dark moss. And I didn't really capture that in here, but I remembered it. There were enough little hints in here so that I would remember when I painted it over to add more contrast. And you can see how much that makes a difference with the leaves juxtaposed against the darker background. It makes a much better painting. It emphasizes the yellow, and it looks much better this way. You can also see more of a value contrast when you look even at the yellow leaves here on the grass, the few tufts of grass that were coming up. They're almost brighter green than they were here. And that is true. They weren't that color. They were a regular darker green. But you can use artistic license when you redo these things. And that's the whole point of this exercise, painting it over again, is to make changes and make it better. Improve on what you've done. So you'll see even with things like the ferns. The first one, you got the idea down quickly, you know where they are, and you finished with it. You moved on. But the second one, I enhanced them. I built on it. So you can see that I've got, instead of just one color here, even though I layered it twice, I've only got one color for the ferns. Here I've got like 3 or 4 colors. I've got a lighter green, a more bluish green. I've got more of an olive green, and then a pure olive green, almost like a brownish. So I've got a lot more interest in this. So you can change your colors and enhance things and use your memory of what you did before to carry over to another painting. One of the things I would like to mention is that it's helpful to have 2 juxtaposed pages so that you don't have to keep flipping back to see what you painted and then flip back again. Unless that's what you want to do. Unless you want to, use your memory or learn or memorize it and then flip back here and see what you did memorize, see what you remembered of the other painting. The other thing I did was I have hints of shadow here. I've got hints of it. So it gave me enough information to carry it over later on. Just because a painting is quick doesn't mean you can't fit a lot of information in there. So later on I was able to add more shade, more shadows to the leaves where they should be. And it makes it more realistic. It gives it more depth. Which one is better? I don't know. I like the second one, but both are important. Now, what would a third one look like? Or a fourth one, if I even did that? The point is, at least do that second one. Don't just close your sketchbook, then move on to a different subject. You'll miss out on so much learning. So, this was a little short video. I hope it was helpful. It was very helpful to me to do this second painting. And I only did it like, 3 days apart from the first one. Don't let a whole lot of time pass. Do it relatively quickly, relatively soon, so that you don't miss the key observations that you made or things you might remember when you were actually doing the original painting. I hope this video was helpful to give you an idea of something that you can try to improve your art and give yourself some better observation skills as well. I hope you can hear me above all the rain pattering on the roof in the studio here, because it is raining today and it's a cloudy day, so it's not the ideal day to film, but I wanted to insert this clip to talk about the Jean Dixon MimeriBlu watercolor set and an update on it. I'm not affiliated in any way. I don't get any bonus or anything by talking about it. I just want to tell you that it is a really good set, and that my earlier videos that showed an unboxing of this, where I swatched it kind of quickly, did not do it justice. I had since played around with it, and I want to show you what I got out of my new swatching, or my recent swatching. I just want to show you the colors. I don't know if it's focusing correctly, but these are all the colors I'm getting out of that one set of, it's got 6 colors in it. 6 colors. Now I have added a Van Dyke brown because I had a hard time figuring out how to get the dark browns that I got when I first played with it on my own, and I couldn't figure out how to do it. So in the field I just wanted to have a dark brown, so I added Van Dyke brown. But these swatches you're looking at now do not show the Van Dyke brown that I added. This is only the Jeannie Dixon set. You'll see some browns here and some browns here. And when I did this swatch, I actually did what you should do and marked down what pigments I was mixing when I did it. So in other words, hope this is focusing again, it's kind of dark in here. I've got the turquoise green straight out of the tube, and then here I mixed the yellow ochre and turquoise green, and between here and here you can see all the different variations I got by mixing the yellow ochre and the turquoise green before I changed over to another color. And the way I got the browns, I figured out I used the orange lake and the turquoise green, and I mixed them together, and I got those nice browns that I wanted, the dark brown. So you need to really play with your palette a lot and label everything so that you can keep track of what colors they are capable of mixing. And I'm going to keep this chart as a reference so that I can refer to it when I want a specific color. Hopefully the more I work with it, the more I'll memorize some of these colors and get a feel for using the palette, so that I won't have to take this into the field, because this has become my go-to field palette for now, my en plein air palette. But I have it in a tin, but these are the actual tubes that it comes in. But this is a little cumbersome to take in the field, so hopefully I'll get better at that. But I wanted to show you an update on that, and so that you could see that. This is an excellent palette, by the way. If you are starting out in painting and you've used, student grade paints and you're looking to upgrade to some more professional paints, I can highly recommend this palette. Although it won't teach you standard, classic, basic color mixing that you would do with a split palette, a split primary palette, this will give you the colors that you need to play around with. So if you just want to play around, you don't care about learning about, mixing colors traditionally, this is a great palette to get. So tell me if you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, give it a like. I hope it was helpful for you to remember to do your paintings or your artwork at least more than once, so that you get a little bit more out of it. You observe more on what you did right or wrong, or what you want to change. Leave me a comment below and subscribe if you're not subscribed. I really appreciate that. And I will see you next time.